Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and if you hear a slight noise in the background, that's my wife at her sewing machine. She's a quilter, and since we moved out of the fifth wheel and into our little mystery house, into the mystery room, now we're, kind of crowded together a little bit, and so I don't want her to stop sewing while I have my fun. So you might hear that in the background. It's my wife sewing. So what I did was I decided, as we were driving into town the other day, I saw some tractors and stuff in this area, which has been vacant and sitting still and nothing going on for probably close to a year. So because we had a really bad monsoon season last year, and so everything came to a stop. I don't know if that was the reason, but this particular field, I've taken a video of it before, and nothing was going on for a long time. But it looks like activity has picked up, so I thought I'd come see what's going on. I rode my e-bike into town, but I didn't record the video coming into town. So it looks like they're down there filling in holes that they have, in this particular case, that they have done. I think they're probably laying pipe in those trenches, and now they're covering them up. So that's what that looks like. And then there's other things going on, which we're going to go over and take a look at. I don't know. This is my first time seeing what's going on here. So anyway, maybe I have time to tell you a story. I'll try to fit it in. After I got married and was living in that nice apartment, I also got the opportunity to work at a ship restaurant. And that I was in Bellingham, Washington, and up near the border is a town named Blaine. And there was it was an inland barge that had been converted into a restaurant. And it was a very fancy restaurant. They had live music every night, and they had some popular names in, but I can't remember all of them anymore. But so I got a job and worked as a waiter, and I don't remember how much money I made back then. It wasn't a lot, but I'd go to work in the evening, and then I would wait tables, and most of my money came in as tips. And so in the time that I've got left here to tell you about my tips, and by the way, it was a very, very fancy restaurant. And so people would bring if they wanted to impress their friends, they'd bring their friends, and buy them dinner. And a simple dinner of beef stroganoff was $20 back then in that restaurant. So anyway, it was fun working there. I've got more stories than the one I'm going to tell you. But what I did was, after somebody was finished eating, I'd come by and see if there was anything I could do. And a lot of times they'd ask me to go buy them some cigarettes. And so, and that was quite common. I don't know why, but anyway, so I would ask them what kind, and I'd go up to the front desk where they sold the cigarettes. And first of all, they would give me the money, so then I would go up to the front desk, and usually if they were impressing friends, they'd give me a $5 bill, which was much more than the cigarettes cost. And so I'd go up and I'd buy the cigarettes and get the change, and I'd lay the change in the tip tray. And then I would take the cigarettes and I would open up and tap out 2 or 3. They were coming, about an inch out of the pack. And then I would also get a book of matches, which they gave away at the front desk. And I would open up the book of matches, and I would pull out a match and bend it up so it would be easy to pull off of the matchbook. So, and I didn't get to do this very often, but when I did, it was really lucrative. So what I would do is I would come back to the person who wanted the cigarettes, and I would hold the tip tray in my hand. I wouldn't set it down on the table. And I'd say, "Here you are, sir." And he would grab the matches with one hand, and he would grab the cigarettes with the other hand, and then the money was in the tray, and believe it or not, he wasn't going to put something down and take the money because he was proud and showing off to his friends. This happened a lot. So anyway, he'd say, "Keep the change." Man, I made a lot of money on that. And another time, well, after my son was born, I had to work that night, the night my son was born. And so I went to the store and I bought a whole bunch of cigars, and I stuck them inside. They gave me a little vest to wear, and I stuck the cigars into my vest. And then when I would wait on a table, and it was a very busy place, and so I'd wait on the table, and then when everything was done, I'd come up and I would say, I would hand the person who paid, I would hand them a cigar, and I would say, "I just had my first baby boy today, and so here's a cigar to celebrate." Well, that night, I tell you what, then I would have people give me a $20 bill or $10 bill or $5 bill to tip me, but to also, this is going to cover expensive diapers or stuff like that, they said. And so it was kind of fun because I think I made $80 in tips that night, which was more than I'd ever made or ever was able to make again. And so, and then when the night was over and it was time to go home, a lot of time. Oh, by the way, there's the Queen Creek Wash, and that's where the water comes into it from off of the mountains. And I've got videos of standing down in there on those rocks. It looks from the air, it looks like they're not very large, but when you're standing down there on them, it's actually, they're so large that it's hard to see. It's hard to see the person standing there. So anyway, we would oftentimes, the whole staff, when it was all closed up, all the workers, the waiters, and the bus boys and stuff, we'd all go over to, there was a little restaurant that was open all night across the street, or down the street and across the street from where we worked, and we'd go there and we'd have pizzas or something. So that night I had my $80 in my pocket, and I treated everybody to everything and shot my wad. My $80 didn't last very long. But it was a fun experience, and so anyway, and I worked there for a long time, and they liked me really well because I was customer service oriented, I guess you would say nowadays. So here I come in for a landing, but anyways, they liked me really well, and in fact, I started out as a busboy, and then they promoted me right away to be a waiter, and of course, then you dress up, in all your fancy clothes that they gave you to wear. So anyway, I worked that job for a long time, and then we had this lady that was in charge of all of us, and her name, I'm not going to tell you her name, but she was crazy. She was really a wild person, and she'd get mad at you because you didn't do what she told you to do, but then you get started doing something she told you, and then she'd stop you and have you do something else, and then a couple minutes later she'd scold you for not finishing what she just took you from. So anyway, I'll have to tell you more. I'm coming in for a landing here. I'll tell you more about that lady some other time. Right now, I want to thank you for watching my videos, and God bless.